Well, what we have here is actually a series that's based on the William Gibson novel. There's so many great elements to it as well. So I guess this is kind of for the both of you. How did you kind of go about deciding how much you want to keep in the show and how many changes you want to make? Because I feel like that's always the kind of the thing when you do something like this.
Well, there is so much in every William Gibson page that you could possibly explore. He's so excellent at imagining fully his universe, and in this case, universes. So we knew that in order to bring this to TV as a series, what was most important was that we focused on a through line that people could become emotionally attached to. As well as, intellectually intrigued by. And so I think that was sort of the guiding impetus there, was to look at the story, the very relatable and kind of universal tale of somebody who's, in a community trying to figure out who she wants to become during an uncertain time. And through playing a game, or what she thinks is a game, all these new opportunities open up, and we just kind of followed that emotional grounding, and in doing so encountered so many different facets of the world that Gibson set up and so many of the characters that he set up in these worlds. And I think to us, that was the kind of guiding narrative principle.
And I recall when Lisa first read the book, she had a very visceral reaction to it, which is not the way people often respond to that book, because the first 100 pages of it is pretty dense and not easily decipherable, but she understood the heart of the story. And I think that is always the kind of North Star when you're adapting something, is finding that heart. And that's how I'm sure William Gibson would do it if he had to adapt it to the screen. And I do feel like the show retains the flavor of the book. That's what I'm most proud of, is that finally William Gibson's work has found its place on the screen. If I do say so, I think properly adapted.
I would agree with that for sure. I do love the fact too that you're talking about worlds plural, because you do first, one second you're in the Blue Ridge Mountains, and then the next second you're in futuristic London, which I think is really cool. How exciting was it to kind of present such a wide range of visuals for this series? Because it's totally different.
I think that's what makes it so exciting, certainly for us as filmmakers, is the dialectic between those two things. These two worlds that on one hand are completely different from each other, and yet have this sort of weird warped mirror reflection of each other. And it is the contrast. I felt that, when the show was finally finished watching, it was just the flavor, those two flavors coming together was something I hadn't really experienced before. And it's very seductive. Both worlds are beautiful in their own way.
Really quickly for the both of you, I love the relationship between Flynne and Burton, because it's got typical brother-sister vibes, but at the same time added layers. So really quickly, how would you describe the relationship?
Well, I mean, I think that's what's the dynamic between them is what makes it so relatable, right? Because they're not perfect. Because Flynne is, of course, she's like a dynamic, wonderful sister, lovely, but she has issues with Burton, and Burton has issues with her. And it's the fact that it's within their imperfection, they find this kind of harmony that makes them so great together and so much fun to watch together.
I'd call it a bickering kind of love. And then, but to counterbalance that kind of real life bickering love is the fantasy kind of love in life that's presented by Gary's character, Wolf Netherton, when he calls, so it's the mix, like Vincenzo was saying, between these two worlds. Each one has its beauty and familiarity and allure, so when London calls, it's a whole different type of community opportunity and connection that she could have.
You'll get to see for yourself when the Peripheral premieres on Prime Video on October the 21st. Vincenzo, Lisa, thank you so much for the time today. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.